Yeah. But yeah, you know, we hit the word in the street real quick. We touched on Jay being hip hop's first billionaire. Dr. Dre has something to say about that. He said he's the first billionaire. I think he's a lot of it was off the deal he did with you know, obviously he sold a lot of records in the game, but that deal he made with the headphones, Dre Beats and Apple, and he got that bread off of that. He said that put him over the top for Billy. Either way, the good brothers, man, doing their thing, man. It's good to see. And Jay is paying it forward too. He just invested $1 million into a vegan, a black-owned vegan cookie company.
That's dope.
So, you know, Jay's always evolving and always, you know, trying to take his business to the next level. Kind of remind me like of Magic. That's how Magic Johnson was once he, you know, stopped playing in the NBA. He really delved into the business world. You know, head first.
It's important because I think Jay-Z understands money. He understands like he's for real a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think people try to pigeonhole him into just the hustler and the drugs and all that, but he turned into a real live businessman, and you have to respect it. Like
for sure,
if he's been able to change the game, change the way we look at hip hop. With his business ventures, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because coming in, like you got to be a businessman now. Like
if
if you're not a businessman, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know. So
well, and that's a prime example. We look at De La. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay, they came in from the artist aspect. Jay came straight in from the business aspect with the mindset. You know, they were on. He and Dame. I mean, they sold their joints out the trunk. You know, old school style. You know.
Yeah.
And then they got a little deal with Priority. Their Reasonable Doubt was first released on Priority. I remember getting the sampler tape from this was when I was in New York, and I got a sampler tape out of a store I used to frequent up there, and it was dope. It played like maybe, and they don't do that anymore, obviously. But back in the day, you know, you would get the remember Cheese, you get the like the little sampler joint.
Oh yeah,
and I had the cassette. And
then when it cut off,
like
a minute 25 minutes, you like, wait, he was just getting into it.
Yeah, not even maybe 30 seconds of it. You know what I mean?
Album too.
Yeah, and I got that, and that was on Priority.
Yeah,
and then they got the $2 million deal with Def Jam Russell, and then that's when they started playing with the big boys, and they re-released Reasonable Doubt on Def Jam. So, but even at that point, you know, Jay like, look, we still gonna own our masters. Him and Dame, you know, Dame was cutthroat. Yeah. Going back to Beanie, Dame was that street dude. That's why Dame's still doing his thing, but that's why he's kind of on the outside looking in because he couldn't leave that street in the street.
And what's crazy is I always look at their situation like if it wasn't for Dame though, like Jay can never front on what Dame has done.
Oh no,
you know what I mean? Because Dame, I felt like Dame was like Rockefeller or nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was, and he really went super duper to the ends of the earth.
He went to the max
to make sure Rockefeller was like known everywhere.
He went super hard, but I thought he didn't listen.
It's Dame because for Dame, Rockefeller was the end all be all. He was trying to get out of the streets 100%. So he's like, I'm gonna make this work so I don't have to ever touch another brick. Never have to touch the street again. But at the same time, he had that mentality, that street mentality, like coming to the ballroom, banging his hands on it. You know what I mean? Like, you would scare a few folks like that.
Yeah.
But hey,
some
of the white folks ain't playing that. Yo, I think we ain't playing that,
and they just not gonna deal with you anymore.
Right. Exactly.
I think when Jay went on vacation, he came back when he signed Cam, did all that other stuff. Like I think that was it.
Yeah, that changed the dynamic because Jay was like, okay, we won third. It's me, you, and Big. You know, and I had go on vacation, come back. And Cam is, you know, president or vice, whatever position he had, and then you signed MOP and
they was signed. Everybody
all in New York.
At one point,
everybody bastard. Yo, they had everybody on rock.
I remember that. At one point, everybody was getting signed to the
They
Rock.
was about to sign Big L, rest in peace, but he passed. You know what I'm saying? But everybody they signed was dope though. They wouldn't sign no scrubs, you know what I mean? But then they signing everybody, then like who actually came out with an album though with them?
I think Jay mindset was where he's at now, then, but I don't think that Wishball saw it.
Yeah, Dame.
Yeah, Dame said.
Right. Well, and Jay knew how to move a room too, a boardroom.
Yeah.
You know, he know when to take the jersey off and put a suit on,
right.
you know, and talk that talk smooth over to get what he want, you know.
Yeah.
Dame did it, but he was more aggressive with it, and for some situations it worked, and more than not, it didn't work.
Have you ever listened to rappers interviews and you listen to that Jay-Z interview? Being like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, you know,
super witty,
very witty. I just watched the interview he had on through the New York Times, and he was talking to him, and oh man, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like, he asked Jay a question, Jay answered it, and he was like, wow, you're very smart.
Yeah.
As if he's not supposed to be.
Right.
I'm like, you wouldn't say that to another white guy. Why you
never?
But I understand why, because again, you got that perception coming in. This is Jay-Z. Yeah, he got all these companies he's involved in, whatever, but he's still from the streets. He's still from Brooklyn. You know, he's still got that. He's a hip hop head. He's part of hip hop. So you got that perception, and you know, who you think they are.
Jay reminds me of somebody who would do like a lot of research before, because I remember early on in his career, he would always say he's super defensive in his interviews. You know what I mean? But I feel like he's more of like a chess player.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And when people are interviewing him, you could tell like he's playing, you know what I mean? He's moving his pieces around like, yeah, I know what you're gonna ask me, because if you watch the David Letterman interview,
that one too, I watched that one too.
Yeah, like you could tell he was ready to say something about the whole lemonade situation.
Yeah,
and it ended up Dave Letterman talking about his own situation. Like I don't know how Jay
he smoothed that over,
spun it where he didn't really talk about,
because he didn't want to talk about it, so he found a smooth way. He did. I watched. It was crazy because I watched that interview. I watched I was on YouTube and I watched the New York Times interview, which was
that's a real dope interview too.
Yeah, that was pretty recent. And then of course, you know, they have like right after that they had the Dave Letterman joint.
Yeah.
So I watched that one, and then they had the Breakfast Club joint from 2013, and I watched that joint. And even then it's crazy because Charlamagne is trying to bait him in to certain things, you know.
He had to laugh at him.
Yeah, and Jay just he laughed at him and kind of and deflected that question into something else. Man, dude is just he's incredible, charismatic, and knows how to if he comes into a room and he's looking for a result, he knows how to get that result and on his terms. And that's what the chess we was talking about. He know how to move them pieces around where it's gonna work for him, not for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But just real quick, we got like a minute before we're going to break, but leading right up to this, you see where Jay-Z's and Beyonce, they were at the Warriors and Toronto game.
Yeah.
You see,
I saw that.
Yeah, old girl Nicole Karan, she's the wife of the owner, Joe Lacob of the Golden State Warriors, and Jay and her were having a conversation. B was in the middle. And it looked like, okay, you know, it could have been, it
was innocent. But I mean, I think everything gets spun these days, like especially with the situation they just went through.
That's what I'm talking about. The whole
Becky talking to her and Beyonce's face. But somebody did like a double shot of when I guess Jake Gyllenhaal, somebody was talking
back in 2014.
And Jay had the same face, so it was like, you know, it's funny. What do you think about the owner? Who was the guy that pushed Kyle Lowry's head?
Oh yeah,
what do you think about that?
We're gonna come back. Let's pay these bills. We're gonna talk about that. Keep it live.
Banks from Live 97.5.
And this is Kimara, CEO of the #1 modeling troupe on the Eastern Shore, Curvy